Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, for this video, we're going all the way over to Australia. Well, you're not going over there if you're already there. And we're looking at this case. We've got some breaking news in the case of this little cherub, Gus Lamont, 4 years old. 4 years old, went missing a month ago now. A month, not anywhere, not only at home. 1 minute he was there playing in the sand, according to his GMA, playing in like a sand pit outside his house. Hi, Darren, good morning. And then the next minute he was gone. And there's really, apart from one little boot print that was found, there has been no sign of little Gus. August, his full name is, but it's called Gus for short. And, you know, it's just a mystery, isn't it? It's a very complicated family relationship. His mother and father apparently are still together, but live separately. Gus lived on his GMA's sheep station with his other GMA and also with his mum and also his sibling. And apparently his mum and one of the GMAs were off where the sheep are, and Gus was being looked after by one of his GMAs, who was also looking after his little sibling, who's younger than him. And she says he was playing outside in a sandpit, and then 1 minute, and then the next minute, round about 5 p.m. one Saturday evening, next minute he was gone. And since then, nobody knows what has happened to this little boy. Hi, Blue. Now, I think it's important to say the police are insisting still at the moment, even after a month, this is not a criminal. They've got no evidence of any criminal activity, either that he was abducted or that the family have got anything to do with this case. They think he wandered off. That's the current official line. We have to be aware of that. That he just wandered off, and it is a very, very, very remote area, as we will see in a moment. And you just think, well, how far could he have wandered, a 4-year-old? And, you know, if he did wander off, hi, Angel, he definitely cannot be alive. It's just impossible for him to be alive if he's had to look after himself for a month. And the only way, really, this boy could still be alive, possibly, is if somebody took him, like, and is keeping him safe somewhere. So, as I say, there's a very complicated family relationship that we're going to look into, because why do his mother and father not live together, apparently? And this is all conjecture and speculation. The family have been very private. They haven't really come out and said much. You know, but there is a lot of speculation, obviously, from friends, neighbours, etc. That's where these sort of rumours start. That Gus's father and one of his GMAs just don't get on very well, you know, and at the end of the day, that often happens, doesn't it? Often happens. So it wouldn't be a surprise that they didn't get on very well together. So, of course, some people are wondering, you know, did the father have something to do with it? Some people are wondering, did the GMA do something? You know, all the usual. The thing is, when we don't know anything, it's easy to try and fill in the gaps, because people, you know, when it's a mysterious case like this, people want to know what happened to him, don't they? At the end of the day, they want to know what happened to him. And, you know, what did happen to him. Anyway, the breaking news, what I'm here to tell you about, is after, you know, doing several searches that have really led to virtually zilch, nothing, they have now decided, the police have now announced that they are going to drain the dam that is on the property. Now, you might be surprised that they didn't do that right in the beginning, really, because children quite often go to water, don't they? If there's water on the property, apparently there's a dam It has been searched. Having said that, it has been searched, but we know that water is very reluctant to give up its secrets, isn't it? Rivers, lakes, dams, etc. You know, they're not easy to search. Things move around, don't they, at the bottom? I don't know how deep this dam is, but you know, it won't have been easy to search. Anyway, it's been searched before, and nothing. But this time they're actually going to drain it, you know, which seems like a good idea, doesn't it? Now, it may be that nothing comes up, nothing is found. This sort of part of us doesn't want anything to be found, because it'd mean that there's an outside chance that Gus might still be alive. But having said that, it seems unlikely. So if he is deceased, it's better that he's found, of course. So yeah, so tomorrow, well, Australian sort of tomorrow, which is later on today, as far as Spain's concerned. For those of you who know me, don't know me, and my name's Vicki Marie. I'm based in Spain, in Europe. So where I am, it is just before 9:30 in the morning. Though I know in Australia it'll be evening time now, won't it? So yeah, hi Daniel. So we'll be waiting with bated breath. Everyone will be waiting with bated breath for this dam to be drained. I think it's a good idea to drain it. Is Gus in there? Because you know he was wearing a hat, and that hasn't been found. None of his things have been found. Only this one really strange, isolated boot print, apparently, you know, so that's odd in itself, isn't it? And I don't think Gus is very far away from the home. I don't think a toddler could have got far. Personally, I can't see that he's gone miles and miles and miles. I know it's a possibility. And I know toddlers can move quick and they get something in their head. He's slightly more than a toddler, isn't he? He's 4. Apparently he was, he could move pretty quickly and he could move far, so possibly. But my personal opinion, I think he's probably quite local. If some misadventure has befallen him, I don't think he'd be far away from the property. Personally, I don't think that. But, there you go. So we don't know the police are making other investigations. They've made that clear. They're exploring all avenues, like they should do in a missing persons case. Sorry, there you go. They should explore all avenues and just, they've not come up with a theory or a hypothesis yet. Well, except that as far as the police are concerned, he's wandered off. That's really all they're saying at the moment. No evidence of foul play, no evidence of anything except that he seems to have just wandered away and something's happened. So this is the breaking news, though, that they're going to drain the dam. So let's just have a look at a news article talking about it. We're going to look at a couple. No, not that one. Right, hang on. As usual, got it all ready and it's disappeared. Huh. There it is. Okay, so let's have a look at this first. And then we're going to look at another news item.
Well, police will be heading back out to the Outback station near Yunta in South Australia's mid-north tomorrow to undertake a renewed search for 4-year-old Gus. They're going to be draining a dam which is about 600 metres from the family homestead to rule out that
600 metres. So yeah, he could easily have gone there. And children are attracted to water. At the end of the day, they do. you know, and unfortunately bad things can happen.
Year-old Gus drowned in that dam. Now, it's about 4.5 metres deep, and police say that draining it will allow them to allow a comprehensive visual search, especially in areas with underwater vegetation. The search has been ongoing since Gus was last seen at the property on September 27, and since then an extensive search has been underway with police, SES volunteers, and that's been from the air, on the ground and the water as well. Now, Ros, this dam has already been searched, but as police will go out there tomorrow and search this dam, they're hoping that it will rule out whether Gus drowned there.
So yeah, sorry, just going back to, so we can see the property. Look at the terrain. It's dusty, it's hot, boiling hot. In the day, it's probably freezing cold at night. You know, this boy, if he's there, he can't have survived if he's out in that terrain somewhere. I just want to turn it back a little bit. So, of course, the army went out and searched. You know, they've pulled out all stops to search. But it's quite a bare terrain, isn't it? That's what impresses me as well, as you think that the drones, because they've done drone searches. If little Gus has, you know, come to some misadventure out there, you'd think he would be able to be spotted from the sky. But nothing. So far, none of his clothes, nothing.
Especially in areas with underwater vegetation. The search has been ongoing since Gus was last seen at the property on September 27, and since then an extensive search has been underway with police, SES volunteers, and that's been from the air, on the ground and the water as well. Now, Ros, this dam has already been searched, but as police will go out there tomorrow and search this dam, they're hoping that it will rule out whether Gus drowned there.
Sorry,
tomorrow and search this dam.
When you saw it from the air, then it just shows you, doesn't it, how big and barren it is. Hi, David.
And they're hoping that it will rule out whether Gus drowned there. Also worth mentioning that a recent drone search was undertaken, but police analysed the data from that and say that no object of significance was found. However, a further aerial imaging analysis is still ongoing, and we won't hear more on that for another couple of weeks, Ros.
Okay, Sophie, thank you for the update.
So I think you can safely say, you know, they are trying their best to find Gus. So where is he? Okay, so now we're going to watch this. This is a Daily Mail sort of, you know, they do these little videos. They are useful, whether you like the Daily Mail or you don't. They do make these useful videos.
Hello, I'm Ali Langton. Welcome to A Current Affair. 1 minute he was playing outside. The next, he was gone. Exactly what happened to preschooler Gus Lamont, no one knows. After 2 weeks without answers, speculation is building, and a former homicide detective has his own theory.
Sorry, we watched this video ages ago. We're going to watch another one. This one. My God, I need to turn that one off. That's it. Right, okay, so this is the one we're going to watch. Now, this is, look at that. I mean, look at it. Gosh, that's the homestead in the middle. You know, he could be anywhere. Couldn't he? Goodness me. Could be anywhere. Just so vast, that, isn't it? You know, so huge, so vast. I'm a bit speechless about it. Anyway, a lot of people like living places like that. I mean, there is this road here, but apparently there's a fence all the way around that's locked. You know, people can't just get on the property. no car was heard. You know, a car would have been heard if he would have been abducted, in my opinion. You know, because in a place like that, you would hear everything and anything, wouldn't you? But no vehicle was reported as being heard by the GMAR. So let's have a look at so this Daily Mail reporter now. So they start off saying they're heading towards the home of Gus's father to try and talk to him, but they didn't have an appointment. You know, they didn't have an appointment or anything. They're just turning up. You know, they whinge about social media people, and they do exactly the thing. They just set off to turn up to his home, even, you know, without an invitation, just, you know, totally trampling all over his privacy. Anyway, never mind.
Police have just announced that the search for Gus is going to resume again tomorrow, on Friday. They are intending to drain the dam on the property. This is a new development.
Now, this must be, of course, it was a dam, wasn't it, where they found Samantha Murphy's phone. Gosh, I need to try and look into the Samantha Murphy case again, because there's been no news about that at all, has there, recently? But maybe we should do an update just to keep Samantha's name in the, you know, she needs to be, if the court case isn't till next year, so it will be quiet until then. But we need to do a little review of the Samantha Murphy case. But her phone was found in a dam very similar to this, wasn't it? So you can see it's not massive, or if that's it there, if that's the actual dam there, it's not enormous, is it? But and as I say, it has been searched, but I think draining it is definitely a good idea, because hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully they'll find Gus, because that would mean he was deceased. But I think you know what I mean. If he is deceased, then better that he gets found. But, you know, and if he's not there, at least that's something ticked off. You know, the dam should be drained and checked. Most definitely. That, you know, we might wonder why it hasn't been done before, really.
It is not known why this has now come about, but the search will resume again tomorrow. So I'm just driving up to Josh Lamont's property now. It's a small cottage in Belleley North. So
Josh is the dad. We saw a photo of him there. As I say, he didn't live with the mother, but they're said to be still together, you know. So this is what we've been told. They lived separately. He doesn't get on with the GMAR, apparently, which is his wife's mother. He didn't like living at that homestead. He didn't approve of it as well. He thought it was dangerous for children. Apparently, allegedly, again, these are just things that we're told, but we don't know because he hasn't spoken publicly. The police haven't commented publicly. I've noticed through this video that this woman, who seems to be English, I think, casts shade on Joshua, but then suddenly says, oh, we're not saying that Joshua or any of the family have got anything to do with it. But all the way through the video, really, that is what she is casting shade on, I think, and in a way of, and then saying that she isn't. But, you know, at the end of the day, when a child goes missing, the family are always under suspicion. They have to be, really, don't they, one way or another.
Cottage in Belleley North. This property is about 2 hours away from the homestead where little Gus Lamont was last seen. It's obviously a really sad, traumatic situation that's happened here. It's always hard to cover these kinds of stories. You know, as a mum myself, my heart really does go out to the family in these situations. My name is Jonica Bray and I'm a senior reporter for the Daily Mail. I have been covering the Gus Lamont missing case story since it unfolded over a month ago, and I have travelled here today deep into the South Australian outback to speak to the Lamont family and hear their side of the story. However, here I am at the cottage that Joshua Lamont has been renovating, and Josh Lamont is nowhere to be found. I've spoken to members of the local community and the neighbours who tell.
So it seems that Josh has been renovating this place. Maybe that's the reason why his wife is living with the GMARs, because he's renovating the property ready for the family to move into. You know, it might not be because he's fallen out with the GMAR or whatever that he's not living there. He's living there, renovating the property. It won't be the first time that that's happened. And maybe it's not fit for the children to be there yet, and he's making it fit for them to be there. So, you know, we don't know for certain that there is any animosity in this family, but this is just what people are saying. Reporters like this woman
tell me that Josh hasn't been back to the property since his young son went missing. The property remains basically abandoned, and now people think he may never return. Wow. Friends say they're completely baffled by what's happened and for the silence that's followed.
Why would people feel that he may never return? I mean, he's obviously left that property. You know, he could be with friends, he could be with family. He's going to need support, isn't he? Because his son is missing, for God's sake. He could be anywhere. And why would they think he's not going to go back? I mean, you know, I bet he was glad he wasn't there that day when that reporter turned up. Perhaps he's just left because of all the attention.
It's now been over a month since little Gus vanished from his grandparents' remote sheep station, Oak Park, about 43 kilometres south of Yunta. The 4-year-old was last seen playing in a pile of sand around 5:30 in the afternoon. Despite 2 major search operations involving police, the Australian Defence Force and SES volunteers, there has been no sign of him since. The only clue, a small footprint in the dust, believed to match the boots that Gus was wearing when he disappeared under his grandmother's care.
Now, you know, I think this is a good video of it, you know, and I'm glad I can present it because I think it's informative. But, you know, the Lahiti reporter, she reminds me of Nadine Dorries. I can't get sort of over that. Unfortunately, she does remind me a bit of Nadine Dorries, who's not really my favourite person. So, but I think it's informative. It's a good video that's informative for people like us that are interested in the case.
Since that day, the family has remained silent.
Yeah.
Locals talk of a deepening rift between Josh and the Murrays. Gus's.
So this is locals talking of this rift, but, you know, the police haven't spoken about it. We don't know anything really. So let's see, what have we got here on the family tree? Let me just put it back to the beginning.
Day, the family has remained silent. Locals talk of a deepening rift.
Yeah, so we've got Vincent and Claire. So they're the great-grandfather, the great-grandmother. Then we've got Shannon, who is one of Gus's grandmothers, and Josie, who was formerly known as Robert. And Robert transitioned to Josie many years ago. This is not a recent transition, but has stayed with Shannon, who was, when Gus's grandmother Josie was Robert, he was married to Shannon, and they've stayed together. Well, I say stayed together, I'm not saying they're still in a relationship, but they still live together on that sheep shearing station. So it is you know, I mean, it's not a conventional family, I suppose you might say. It doesn't mean anything, but I mean, it's good that I think if Shannon, you know, I'm thinking on Shannon's side of it, you know, if your husband suddenly turned around and said they wanted to transition to be a woman, that's difficult for you. You know, it might be what they've always wanted and make them very happy. But, you know, it'd be difficult for the wife, wouldn't it? But anyway, they still live in together. Whether they're actually in a relationship, I don't know. I have no idea. But that's the relationship. And then you've got Jessica, who is the child of Shannon and Josie, or Robert before he transitioned to Josie. And then you've got Joshua, Gus's father, and he and Jessica have got 2 children, which are Gus, who's the child who's gone missing, and Ronnie, who's a younger sibling, who is the child that Josie was looking after as well as Gus, while Jessica and Shannon were at the sheep shearing station, apparently. So they weren't at the actual property. Shannon and Jessica, when Gus went missing, weren't at the property. Josie was looking after both the little boys. And yeah, that's the situation. That's what happened.
Between Josh and the Murrays, Gus's maternal grandparents, who have bunkered down at the property where the little boy vanished. Friends have told the Daily Mail that emotions are running high, that the rift between Josh and the Murrays has deepened, and that things have been said that cannot be unsaid. It's understood that it was the police, not family, who told Josh that his son was missing. They came here.
Hi, Julie. Oh, so Blue, are you talking about my microphone or her microphone? Are you getting annoyed with? Just let me know if it's me. Is it me? Is it me? The microphone is set to a point that I want to rip my hair out. She needs to sort that. Do you mean my microphone or this lady, Nadine Dorris lookalike? Do you mean her? Hey, Julie, how's your car? My car is fixed. Just to let you know, it cost me an arm. We can't eat for another 3 months, but the car is fixed. Hers. Right, okay. So, yeah, the car is fixed. Anyway, that's all you need to know. The car is fixed. How about yours? I hope your car's sorted.
To the house where he was already asleep for the night, knocking on his door and waking him and delivering that absolutely devastating news. Gus's grandma.
Yeah, so that's a strange thing if it's true. Again, these are they true? That Gus's dad, it was the police that told him, not the family. That seems odd. I don't know. This is Josie. The grandma that was looking after Gus and his little brother. Let's just watch that again. Does seem odd that it was the police that told him, not the family. But then is it sometimes, the police go out to, families will say, oh, I don't know, maybe the family were just too distraught and couldn't face telling them. And they sent, the police went out to be a more removed sort of person to tell him. I don't know. But anyway, apparently it was in the middle of the night.
Door and waking him and delivering that absolutely. They came here to the house where he was already asleep for the night, knocking on his door and waking him and delivering that absolutely devastating news. Gus's grandmother, Josie Murray, a fiercely private woman who transitioned many years ago, previously told the Daily Mail she didn't want outside help in the search. Meanwhile, Gus's mother, Jessica.
Now, they're a very private family and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, especially because Josie has transitioned. She knows that she's going to get, attention because of that. So she'd said, oh, you can't help. But, you wouldn't want the press hanging around necessarily. Some people do. We talked about this before. Some people like the press hanging around so that, like talking to the press to sort of gain, exposure, maximum exposure. Other people, it seems like this family is very, very private. I mean, it was a few days before they even released a photo of Gus, wasn't it? So, we're all snowflakes, remember. All of us are snowflakes. We've all got our ways of dealing with things. We shouldn't judge people who deal with things in a different way to how we think we would deal with things. But sorry, going back to my car, it was a starter motor. I'll tell you what, I'm counting myself very lucky because it could have broke down at any time. I could have been anywhere. I could have been miles from home. It could have been an absolute nightmare. It's been really, when we look at it, was acting up for ages. But touch wood, worked yesterday, feels different. It doesn't feel like it's missing, because before it did feel like it was missing, and sometimes you'd start it and it wouldn't start straight away, but it'd start like a couple of seconds delay. So hopefully that's it sorted.
And his baby brother Ronnie haven't been seen in the area since Gus disappeared. Locals say no one knows where they've gone. Friends have told the Daily Mail that Jessica is an extremely quiet and shy lady. She is highly intelligent and actually skipped the last year of high school to go to university early. She's a high achiever. By contrast, they say Josh is fiery, outspoken, and not the type to stay silent, which is why his disappearance is even more puzzling. Police continue to insist there are no suspicious circumstances.
So the police are still saying no suspicious circumstances. I mean, Josh may well have been told not to speak to the press. You know, in a case like this where they got basically, although they're saying they think he's wandered off, they have no clue, do they? They have no clue what happened to Gus. So, you know, it may be that he's been told not to speak to the police. I don't know if it's better or worse if he speaks to the police. You know, sometimes in these sort of cases, if you don't speak to the police, shade is cast on you. And if you do speak to the police, shade it, you know, sometimes, you know, people will say whatever you do.
Despite weeks of searching and no new evidence emerging. And we are not suggesting any of the family have any involvement in the little boy's disappearance. Helicopters, drones, Aboriginal trackers and volunteers scoured the harsh terrain for days, but nothing was found. Ronald Boland, a Port Augusta-based Aboriginal tracker and trapper, joined the early days of the search, which has since been called off, though investigations continue. Speaking to the Daily Mail this week, Mr. Boland said he remained certain that Gus would be found. He made a cryptic comment: that little boy deserves respect to go about it on all the right roads.
Yeah, so he did make this sort of cryptic comment. Does he believe the boy is out there somewhere?
Little boy deserves respect to go about it on all the right roads. Police will find him, they will. They do what they do best. I do what I do best, he added. One day, I will tell the story about Gus.
Yeah, one day I will tell the story. What story? You know, is there, you know, do you get the feeling? I do get the feeling that there's more in this case. There always is more that we don't know, isn't there? We can't, you know, the police don't have a responsibility to tell us what's going on, that's for sure. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Thing is, once Gus is found one way or another, that's when things will come to light, isn't it? If there is anything to come to light. But let's, you know, I hope it's not going to be another Sebastian Rogers as Summer Wells, Jack and Lily Sullivan in Nova Scotia. You know, hopefully there'll be some sort of a break one way or another, and this little boy can be brought back to his family one way or another.
He declined to comment on the significance of the solitary red footprint found about 500 metres north of Oak Park Homestead, citing his close working relationship with the police. But locals say they are baffled.
I do think that footprint is very suspicious. Same with Jack and Lily. How do you find one boot print? Where, you know, nobody just makes one boot print. You know, it's just like, it just seems, you think, is it a plant? You know, because how can that be?
By the police's stance and frustrated that the search area didn't expand further. No one has been asked when they last saw Josh or when they last saw Gus. Members of the local community here tell us the...
Yes, that's another funny, oh God, and then that reminds me of the bloody Harrows, you know, in Baby Emmanuel. When was Gus last seen by others than the family? You know, I'm sure the police have looked into that. When was he? No, when did anybody else see him? When was Josh last seen? Could Josh have something to do with it? Has Josh taken him off somewhere? I hope he has. I hope Josh has taken him off somewhere, because then he would be still alive, wouldn't he?
Police have not been in the area canvassing, door knocking or interviewing. And whilst Josh was here in the lead up to his son's disappearance, staying at the house for a number of days previously, no one has been to corroborate that story. Friends are now concerned.
So that's interesting. According to her, she says that the father was staying at the house in the days leading up to Josh's disappearance, to Gus's disappearance. Oh God, it's, you know, it's just like the Jack and Lily case. It's getting more and more confusing. I just think this little boy who was playing outside here, I presume somewhere, or is this Josh's house? Oh yeah, this is Josh's house, sorry. I don't think that Gus will have gone that far. So I'm glad they're draining the dam, because that just eliminates one possibility, doesn't it?
For Josh's mental health, and have been doing quiet welfare checks on the property. They don't know where he is, and they are really worried about his state of mind. Josh was renovating this small cottage for his family before Gus.
They don't know where he is, and they're worried about his state of mind. This mystery just keeps deepening, doesn't it? I mean, where is he? Where is Josh? I don't know what to say, really.
Started school. Now it sits silent. Sheep wander the driveway, children's bikes lie on the back lawn, a haunting reminder of the life that he'd planned for his family. I don't think he'll ever come back, a friend told the Daily Mail. What's the point? All those plans are gone. He needs answers, or he'll never be able to move on.
Well, you know, not all those plans have gone, because he's still got another son and he's still got a wife. So, you know, what is in it? His other son will still need sort of a place to live. I mean, where are they now? Where is Gus's little brother now? Surely can't still be on that homestead. Doesn't seem very safe for children, does it? But then that's how people live over there. So anyway, so to me, I think that's a bit of a silly thing to say. I don't think he'll ever come back, because, you know, he still needs somewhere to live, and his wife and his other child need somewhere to live, even if Gus is never seen again.
Here in the outback, there are far more questions than answers. What's really happened to little Gus Lamont? The police have just announced that the search for Gus is going to resume again tomorrow, on Friday. Yeah. They are intending to drain the dam on the property. The dam is 4.5 metres deep and has previously been searched by divers. This is a new development. It is not known why this has now come about, but the search will resume again tomorrow. I'm going to now travel to Yunta and then onwards to the homestead to see if the family wish to talk about the devastating situation that's unfolded.
They won't want to talk. They don't want to talk, do they? I wonder whose all these cars are then. If he's not there, whose are all these cars outside the property?
And the update of what's happened.
So we'll look forward to that video as well, because it will be interesting. So yeah, it was an interesting video. I think gave us a little bit more insight. Just let me move out the way of little Gus. Yeah, it's starting to feel like that. It feels like there's more to it. But just don't forget, he's been living there for 4 years safely. You know, why has something happened all of a sudden? But just So these are the two mysteries, aren't we, that we're following at the moment. I mean, there's lots more mysteries out there of children that go missing without a trace, but the two that we've been following closely, of course, are Gus Lamont here in Australia, and also Jack and Lily Sullivan over there in Canada, in Nova Scotia. Both so similar in their mysteriousness, aren't they? And problems in the family relationship. Where is this little boy? You just can't think that he could still be alive because he's been missing for a month. And if he's out there in the elements, if he was out there in the elements, can't possibly be alive. So, you know what? I hope Josh has taken him somewhere, as long as he's looking after him. Yeah, a little candle for Gus. Thank you, Julie. Let's have some candles. Yeah. What can we, you know, like there's not much we can do. We can just take an interest in this case. We can hope. We can pray. Not much else we can do. Just send out love prayers out, you know, and I feel for the family because, again, you know, they're coming under suspicion, and it may be that that suspicion is warranted, but it may be that it's not warranted. And I just think the only thing worse than having a child go missing is then for other people to think that you're the one who's done it. But anyway, talking of missing children, I've just done a video earlier of the latest updates in the Julia Wandelt's Madeleine McCann stalking trial. I'm probably going to do that as a premiere later on after I've taken number one son to work. Now I've got, of course, today is Thursday again. Can you believe it? These Thursdays rattle around. We've got members live tonight. I'll be premiering my Halloween video. I made a little Halloween video, just, you know, just a little music video and that. I'll be premiering that. And, do you know, I'm debating about what we should talk about tonight in members. I've got something that I really want to talk about, but I can't decide if I should or not, you know, because it involves another YouTuber or a couple of YouTubers, really. But I just think it's very funny, and I just wanted to, you know, in members' lives, you know, we like to have a laugh, don't we? But some people might not find it funny. Some people haven't really got a sense of humour, have they? So I haven't made a decision yet. If not, we'll be doing something ghostified because it's coming up to Halloween. But you know, I think most of my members, they have got senses of humour, hopefully, parody, satire. You know, it's important, parody. I mean, you know, maybe I've just got a weird sense of humour, but I don't think so, because I think other people find it funny too. So we might look at that because it's something that literally made me belly laugh when I watched it. It was like I could not. But I know that, you know, there's nothing offensive about it or horrible. But, you know, psycho, is it, Vicki? Psycho? What do you mean, psycho? Oh, no, are you talking about EDDY? It's not him, though I could, I mean, that's beyond parody, though, isn't it, really? I think, but no, similar type thing. But anyway, we'll see. I might do it anyway. I can always take it off if I think people will be offended. I don't think people will be offended. I don't think it's offensive. Well, put it this way: if somebody did a similar video about me, as long as it wasn't, you know, nasty, it's not nasty. I wouldn't be offended. I think it's quite funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anything, can you? You know, but yeah, I know, it's like, all I know is I've been watching it every day and it's made me laugh every day. So I'm grateful for it because, you know, it hasn't been a very fun week, what with the car and everything. So it's been nice to be able to watch something that has just made me laugh. Every time I see it, makes me laugh more. So I might look at that. Or if not, we'll do something. But I've got my little Halloween video to show all you members and that. And yeah, we will be doing a Halloween special tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be able to dress up in the end. I wanted to buy a costume and everything. I'm literally brassic after paying for this bloody starter motor. So, you know, I don't think I'll be dressing up, but I will be doing a Halloween live. I might be able to root out something I've already got, or make something even. You know, maybe I'll get a bit inventive and try and make something. I could perhaps try that. I don't know yet, but so anyway, thank you so much for caring about this little one. You know, he's what's important, isn't it, in this search? As I say, there'll be a premiere later for with the latest in the Madeline case or the stalking case. And tonight is Members Live. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. Well, I know I'll see my members. So if you want to watch the members, see what ends up coming out, don't forget to join. Oh, no, I haven't got that silver wig anymore, Blue. I had to throw it away because it just fell apart, really. But I'll tell you what I have got. I've probably still got some masks or something. I'm sure I can throw something together for Halloween. I'm positive that I can. So one way or another. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Now, I am blowing kisses, but you can't see because I'm on the avatar because I haven't even, you know, brushed my hair yet this morning. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm trying to finish the live with the. Bye-bye.